protests demanding justice for the shooting death of Breonna Taylor during a police raid in March turned violent.
I think America must see riots do not develop out of thin air.
Martin Luther King in April 1967, a year before his assassination.
Certain conditions continue to exist in our society, which must be condemned as vigorously as we condemn riots. In the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard. What is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that large segments of white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice, equality, and humanity. So in a real sense, our nation's summers of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay.
6 summers ago, months of unrest followed the police shooting of Michael Brown, launching the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, as video evidence of abuse of power piles up amid a pandemic that has killed black people at a strikingly disproportionate rate, the sense that black lives still don't matter is hard to shake. Take the murder in February of another black man also caught on video.
Ahmaud Arbery, a young black man who in February, almost to the day it happened to Trayvon Martin 8 years ago, was chased down by white men in pickup trucks and shot and killed on a residential street in Georgia.
A reminder of why incidents like this other one on Monday in New York City's Central Park are so harrowing. A white woman named Amy Cooper had her dog off-leash in a part of the park where leashes are required. A black man, Christian Cooper, an ardent bird watcher, asked her to leash said dog. From there, things escalated.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone out.
Please don't come close to
I'm
me.
taking pictures. Call the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
There is an African-American man I am in touch with. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please tell the cops immediately.
Cooper lost her job, lost her dog, and was dubbed a Karen. We turned to a 2018 Saturday Night Live for guidance.
Let's go to white people for 400.
Your pretty Karen brings her potato salad to your cookout. Uh-oh, T'Challa.
This woman, Karen, she is Caucasian, eh?
Yes.
And she has her own recipe for potato salad, eh?
Yeah.
And although I have never had potato salad,
Of course.
I sense that this white woman does not season her food.
That's right.
And if she does, it is only with a tiny bit of salt.
That's exactly right.
And no paprika.
No paprika, no.
And she will probably add something unnecessary like raisins.
I know, right?
So, something tells me that I should say,
Say it.
oh, hell no, Karen. Keep your brand-ass potato salad to yourself.
In recent years, Karen has transformed. No longer just an entitled white lady, but one who wants to speak to your manager. Another SNL instruction.
While working in his lab located above a Tory Burch, Dr. Bruce Banner was hit with gamma radiation in a failed experiment, causing him to transform into an emboldened white lady whenever he is provoked. He is the Impossible Hulk.
I told you, sir, the store policy. You're being aggressive. I'm calling the police.
For what?
911, what's your emergency? Yes, hello, yes. I'd like to report an act of aggression.
We are literally just standing.
No, they're crowding me. I cannot breathe. Sir, just take your money back. It's fine. No, do not rush me. Do not try to silence me.
This dude is impossible.
April Williams is a professor of communications and media at the University of Michigan, and she says the Karen meme resurged with a vengeance last month.
A woman named Karen was denying that COVID-19 was real, became ill, and unfortunately she passed away. And one of the things that I'm seeing is people saying, look, this is peak Karen behavior. The whole reason why this person had posted originally and was protesting was because she believed that states should reopen, the economy is failing, and she wanted to be able to go to the store and get her nails done and all those types of things. I think this resurgence in conversations about what a Karen is because of the conversations on COVID-19. But I do want to actually go back and talk about the origins of Karens and Beckys and how those all fit together. I would say in the Black community, a Becky or a Karen or a Susan or a Patty even is a cultural signifier. And a signifier is really just when a community or a sub-community is using particular patterns of language coded so that members of that community can quickly pick up on this referential piece, right?
Is there a difference between a Karen and a Susan?
There is, but Karen, Becky, Susan are all the same type at different ages and also different economic and social classes.
Could you decode a little bit? What's the difference between a Karen and a Kylie, say?
Yeah, so Kylie is typically for folks who are younger, 15 to 20-year-olds. Kylie, for whatever reason, is just the name that we've settled on. Becky is anywhere from 20 years old to mid-30s range. People probably say that this kind of person is quote-unquote basic, meaning peak whiteness, right? Things like pumpkin spice lattes we would associate with a Becky. Once you've reached the Becky stage, now you're a Karen, mid-30s to mid-40s. You're used to having the entitlement now, and you're comfortable enough to say, you know what, I want to talk to your manager. Karen is classically associated with this idea of calling the manager. So this Karen, the manager that she's calling is the police, but it can be any situation in which a white woman is not satisfied and is now going to call the manager.
So this Karen, Amy Cooper, experienced some real fallout. A lost job, a lost dog, public shaming. Do these memes seek a consequence, or are they simply a form of expression?
The memes themselves are a form of expression. I also frame them as an act of resistance against this casual white supremacy, because ultimately when they call the police on Black people, that's what they're doing. They're upholding a white supremacist system. When these memes circulate, they're calling attention to the fact that this white supremacy is the norm, right? The memes themselves don't necessarily say like, oh, we should fire this person, but the text that accompanies the meme, they'll often say, this person deserves to be fired.
Now, Karen is one in a long line of sobriquets, shall we say, given to white women across the decades, and you've been doing deep research into the BBQ Becky phenomenon, which started with a woman named Jennifer Schulte.
Yes, that's right. This occurred on April 28, 2018. I've been following and collecting data about tweets related to Jennifer Schulte since then, and also another white woman, Allison Edel. On June 23rd, 2018, Allison Edel, who was dubbed Hermit Patty, called the police on an 8-year-old girl who was selling bottled water outside of her apartment building.
She called police on an 8-year-old little girl. You can hide all you want. The whole world gonna see you, boo.
Yeah, and illegally selling water without a permit? Yeah.
On my property.
It's not your property.
Yeah, so these are the two cases that really sort of sparked this Living While Black moment. And as these two cases were occurring pretty closely together, people are starting to recognize a pattern, and they're even starting to use the same kinds of framing when they're creating the memes. We had Barbecue Becky, and then we had Hermit Patty, and now we have Central Park Karen.
You've described something else these incidents have in common, which is these women are frequently likely to underplay the role of race in their actions. You refer to something called the epistemology of ignorance.
Yes, that's right. So the whole entire apparatus of whiteness is dedicated to maintaining this myth that racism doesn't exist, that we're all equal, and life is much better when people don't talk about race, right? And so these white women perform this ignorance about race when they make these calls into the police. And it's really interesting because actually Central Park Karen explicitly says, you're an African American and I'm gonna call the police and tell them that, right? It's a little bit different because in previous cases we saw people were wanting to shy away from the fact that they were engaging in a racially charged incident, whereas this Karen is relying on this heated racialized narrative to cause panic in this man.
So give me a sense of how this epistemology of ignorance plays out, though.
So Barbecue Becky called 911 several times over the course of 2 hours about this family who was grilling with charcoal grills, and apparently charcoal grilling wasn't allowed in that part of the park, allegedly. No one's really sure. I still have not gained clarity because you are allowed to grill there. The question is just whether or not you're allowed to use charcoal. So she's calling and she's saying, I don't want our children to be burned by hot coals and to waste taxpayer money. I'm not making that up.
I'd like it dealt with immediately so that coals don't burn more children and our city has to pay more taxes.
I need a description. And what race are they?